Okay, what's up, everyone? Swinging Bull back again for another earnings stream. And with PB Alerts, of course, is the name of our Discord. Today, didn't have a lot to choose from today, but we got ticker symbol ZS, which is Zscaler, and ticker symbol HQY, which is HealthEquity. So Zscaler, let's see what time they report. Zscaler reports at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. HealthEquity is supposed to report right at 4, so we might even have the data on that at any moment now. But so let's look at HQY first, since they're supposed to, their data should have came out already, literally within a few seconds. Their forecast EPS 0.92, forecast revenue 318 million. We'll see what their stock price does to the earnings data. And again, we should get that any moment now. So let me check. Well, while we're waiting on that, we'll just go over a few things real quick. HQI is they're trying to blend healthcare and AI. They're turning HSA growth into a billion-dollar compounding story. They do have negative free cash flow, really high PE ratio. So just investors just trying to figure out, is this a growth gem or a risk trap, right? So let's look at what their forecast is real quick just on this graphic. Let me go back to the sticks real quick. Okay, all right, so HQY is already getting a pretty solid reaction here. Got trading view pulled up. This is the 5-minute chart. So the data's out. Let me see if I can get the EPS and revenue real quick. And also we'll look and see what kind of condition the company was in going into this earnings. Look at HQY first. So HQY closed the regular session at $88.85 a share. They're sitting here in after hours trading at 96 bucks. So they are up over 8%, which equates to about $8 a share green in the after hours. Okay. So far investors are liking the data. I'm going to go to 1-minute chart. Let's see if it starts pulling back a little bit. HQY, again, just a little bit about the company. It's in software and IT services. They're engaged in providing technology-enabled services that enables consumers to make healthcare saving and spending decisions. Okay, probably where the AI comes in at. The company uses this technology to manage consumer tax advantage health saving accounts, HSAs, and other consumer-directed benefits, CDBs, offered by employers, including flexible spending accounts and health reimbursement arrangements. So that's just a little bit about the company. Going into the earnings, yeah, their PE does look a bit high. Trailing 12-month was at 64 for the PE ratio. EPS nice and positive at $1.37. $84 million float. This is what they had going into the earnings. And let's look at the income statement real quick. Income statement. Okay, so they are a profitable company, even though they got negative free cash flow, but they are pulling a positive net profit quarter over quarter. So that's good. Let's look at the annual basis. So they had some trouble in 2023. They lost money. They lost money in 2022. 2021, they were profitable. 2024, 2025 so far, both profitable. So it looks solid. Balance sheet, debt to asset only 38%, so that's good. And as of, let's go to quarterly view here. As of April 30th, they had they had cash and equivalents of 287 million. So they got a good cash position, cash and equivalents, that is. And so far, positive reaction to the earnings data. Let's see if I can get the EPS and revenue, and then we'll take a look at Zscaler. I think Zscaler is going to report in about another minute. Earnings whispers say it was 4:05 p.m. Eastern. I was having problems with my Bluetooth buds earlier, so now I'm on my headphones. But let's look at the year-over-year numbers and quarter-over-quarter numbers, and what their EPS and revenue was for the actual earnings. So I'm just going to pull this over here. So again, for HQY, the expected EPS was 0.92. They just reported $1.08, so they beat that. Revenue forecast was 320 million. They just reported 325 million, so double beat for HQY. EPS and revenue for year over year is green. EPS and revenue for quarter over quarter, a little bit of a mixed bag. EPS was green, revenue was red. So just kind of a snapshot of the earnings data. It does look like it's taking a little bit of a breather. Look over here on the left. Zscaler is catching a bid too. Wow, they're catching a nice one. I mean, this is a $200, $200 to $300 stock. It's up 10%, folks. Look at this. Just tapped 302. Let me see, 302.37. Wow, this is getting an incredible move. This is Zscaler. They're trading just below 300 bucks. They closed the regular session at $274.57. There are some buyers hitting the tape right now. Let's see. Oh yeah, couple red things every now and then, but a little bit of profit taking, I would assume. There's a little red block right there. Just kind of watching the tape. But let's take a look over here. So yeah, still got a buy side imbalance on the order book. This level 2. Looks like there's an order of 3,500 around 304 a share. So we'll keep our eye on that level. We'll see if that gets chewed through, or maybe a market maker just pulls it. It looks like it just got pulled actually. So this could be going up again. You see that level just got pulled. It's fun to see that on the heat map too. If anyone's familiar with the heat map on Thinkorswim, I like seeing the resting orders from the market makers, and you can clearly see when they put them in and when they pull them. There's a little gap in the heat map line. It's pretty funny. I'll share that with everyone on one of these days on one of the streams. But trading the heat map's a lot of fun. All right, so I call it the level 4 order book. All right, so yeah, so let me see here. Okay, there's another order at 301. Let's see if that gets chewed through or pulled. Okay, it just got pulled. It never got filled. So you see how the market makers are stacking orders and then pulling them out. Again, a little easier to see on the heat map. But I'll try and stream that for everyone one day. But nonetheless, HQY holding up. Buyers are hitting the tape. They double beat. Let me see if I can find any commentary from the CEO, CFO, any guidance perhaps. And then I'll show everyone how to get to the earnings web call. And then what we're going to do is then we'll move over to ZS, because they had a positive reaction as well. And it was quite the positive reaction. So I'm going to go over that in just a minute, but I want to just look at HQY, pardon me. And also let me post these results on the bottom of my screen for HQY so everyone can see the double beat here. Okay, just go back. Okay, should be able to fit all that on one line. There we go. So double beat on HQY. All right, let me see if I can see anything else that might be pertinent to the earnings here. I was just kind of looking on my other screen here at some of the expanded reports. Give me 1 second and see if I can find something else. I'm going to switch over to ZS here in just a minute. Matter of fact, while I'm waiting on the commentary from the CEO and CFO, I'm going to switch over to ZS. Give me 1 sec. ZS, because we know their data's out. I'm going to draw a fib on HQY as well, now that it's kind of taken a little bit of a breather. See where some of these levels are at here. Just go from here to, yeah, I'll draw it to the top there. That's fine. So trading just below, or just above, excuse me, the 25% retrace. It's right around 950-ish, 95.40 a share. I'll probably just call it 95.50. And so far it's holding up above there. It did come back to this 38% retrace momentarily before it bounced off that level. So far 25% retrace holding. So support level number 1 for now, it's right around 95.50 a share is what I'll call it. Shai Balor on X. That's right. ZS just crossed 300. And also ZS, again, software and IT service company. And, both these companies are in software and IT services. I know Shai on X has had his eye on software companies this year, and a lot of them have been performing very, very well. And I even started trading some software companies and made some decent money on them. One ticker in particular that I was put onto was Cloudflare. And we've made some good money on Cloudflare. That's ticker symbol NET. They did pull back recently, like the second week of August, but they've since recovered. And I was running a multi-option strategy on this ever since April, and it's just been trending up ever since then. It's just been an awesome ticker to trade this year. Outside of the 20% market correction that happened between February and April, of course. But we got strategies to trade the downside as well, so it's all good there. So anyways, both these companies are both software and IT companies. So Zscaler, let me go back intraday on them, and they had an initial positive reaction. They're also taking a bit of a breather, pulled back a little bit more than HQY did, but Zscaler did have a bigger move than HQY ultimately. Let me draw a fib on this thing and just see where these levels are at, because it's looking like it's right around 50% of the pump here. I'm going to draw it, probably draw it from here to here. It's probably fine. So yeah, it's trading just above the golden ratio. It's about 286.75 a share, right around there. That's the level I would be looking for it to hold. Getting some volatility coming in right now. Could be some profit taking. Yeah, there's a big sell side imbalance on this right now. So looking like definitely some profit taking going on. I mean, it literally just went from 274 and some change all the way to 305 in a very short amount of time. So it looks like there is some selling happening right now, as you can see from the price action. So it did lose the golden ratio. Next level down, 78%. That's probably make or break. We don't want this thing retracing 100%. That would just be like a reverse Uno deal there. But 78% retrace. That's right around, I'm going to call that 282 a share. Really like, for the bulls, if this holds 282, that would be good. It's kind of pulled back a little bit more than we'd like it to, as far as what we've seen before with price action on these earnings reactions, if you will. So let's just give it a second to kind of marinate and settle a little bit. We're just going to be looking for it to print a higher low. And I would love for that to happen above the 282 level. If it does print a higher low, maybe it'll make another run up to after hours high. We're just going to have to wait. Let me get the EPS and revenue for Zscaler. And then also I wanted to, if I have enough time at the end, I wanted to share the updated progress on my account challenge. I started a $2,500 account challenge about 3 weeks ago, and it's mainly writing contracts. Okay, that's all we're doing on the account. We're not trading any other strategy. We're basically selling cash secured puts and we're selling covered calls, sometimes at the same time, which would be kind of like a short strangle. And then, of course, if the stock pays a dividend and we do have ownership of shares, then there's kind of like a triple income strategy we can kind of it kind of morphs into sometimes, which is a lot of fun. But I'll share the progress on that account challenge here towards the end of the stream. It's about 4:15 p.m. Eastern. I do want to also show everyone how to get to the earnings web call. I know both these companies have a pretty decent following. Again, software companies have been pretty hot this year in a good way. And okay, for Zscaler, it looks like I do got some commentary from the CEO and CFO. But let's just go over the EPS revenue forecast and what they reported, and also the year over year and quarter over quarter numbers just real quickly. Let me move this graphic over here. So this is for Zscaler. The chart's on my left, and they're trading at just under 289 here in after hours, after closing the regular session at 274.57. So they're still up pretty well, over $16 a share. They're up right now in the after hours. So I'll leave that chart on the left. But again, okay, so the forecast EPS was 0.80, and they just reported 0.89. DVD03 on Discord says, I'm playing fourth dimensional chess over here with the heat map trading. I'm gonna do a stream all about that one day, because y'all would find it very interesting how to trade the heat map. It's so much fun, and I love watching the market makers pull their resting orders, and it ends up just being a ploy. Like, you can kind of tell on the heat map that the levels are fake or not sometimes, but it's a lot of fun to watch live. But anyway, so they beat EPS, and this is for Zscaler, and the revenue forecast was 707 million. They just reported 719 million. So again, double beat. So both companies double beat. HQY double beat and Zscaler double beat. Both companies had an initial positive reaction. Both companies pulling back a little bit. It's looking like that 282 level I was pointing out before. It looks like it printed a higher low just above that level. So that's obviously going to be support moving forward. And that's going to be right at 284. It looks like right where that higher low printed. So support level number one on Zscaler, as far as after hours price action is concerned, 284. All right. And then I guess you could put S2 right underneath that at 282. And then support level 3, if you needed a third level, would be 275. All right, so we'll keep our eyes on those support levels, and of course levels to the upside as far as resistance. 294 would be R1. It's looking like it's getting ready to test that level now. And then let's say 297.50 would be R2. And then after hours high, 305, R3. We'll see if it gets back up there or not, but it's making a solid attempt at kind of holding up here. It's holding up above the 50% retrace now after pulling back just below the golden fib. We'll see if that level there around 284 holds it as a higher low as far as technical analysis goes. But we still got a bit of time and remaining for after hours price action, and then of course pre-market data and all that stuff. So back over to HQY, there was a bit of a larger than normal red selling candle compared to the previous ones that just printed, a bit volatile. You can see the bottom wick there came down to 91.48. Nonetheless, still above where it closed the regular session at, and now it's working on a green candle. So we'll see. Both of these stocks kind of looking similar here as far as price action goes. And I did find some commentary for let me go back to Zscaler. So year over year numbers and quarter over quarter numbers for EPS and revenue, green across the board. So that's good. Zscaler had some pretty good earnings data just get released. Let me see. I think I did find some commentary for Zscaler. Okay, this is from the chairman and CEO. His name is Jay Chaudhary, I guess is how you pronounce it. He says, we had an outstanding Q4 in which we achieved a new milestone of more than $3 billion of annual recurring revenue while achieving our highest ever operating margin for a quarter. We believe Zscaler's zero trust and AI security solutions are imperative in today's world and are driving robust demand. That was said by Jay Chaudhary, the chairman and CEO. He also says, we recently delivered AI guardrails for public and private apps. And we are rapidly expanding our AI security portfolio to address the emerging risks of AI models and applications. Solid statement from the CEO. I have to agree. So good stuff there. And now there was some data that came out from Zscaler they did announce a data breach. Okay, it's that's not good news. But Zscaler has confirmed it fell victim to a widespread supply chain attack that exposed customer contact information through compromised Salesforce credentials linked to marketing platform Salesloft drift. A lot of moving parts there. They said it was between August 8th and August 18th of this year. At least they're being open and transparent about it, and I'm sure they've been working on preventing that from happening again. So a little bit of bad news mixed in with great earnings data, I think. And let's see. Also, Morgan Stanley did raise their price target on Zscaler to 320. Something to keep in the back of your mind. And also the expected move for Zscaler, it's $25 move on Zscaler. So it's at about half the expected move right now. Trade just below 14 bucks, so a little more than half the expected move. So this thing could, I mean, if the expected move isn't always 100% accurate. All right, it's just a guide. All right, we see double the expected move sometimes. Sometimes we see half the expected move, but it's a good guide, especially if you're building a trade around expected moves. So the expected move for a positive reaction would put Zscaler around 300 bucks a share. That's on the top side. Of course, the downside expected move would be around 250, but it's looking like it's a positive reaction. Let's see if it holds up. Again, 282. It's kind of coming back to that level a little bit. I'm looking for, actually, it's going to be right around 284 is where that potentially could be a higher low, 284. So that's kind of, as far as technical analysis, I'd be watching 284 right now. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything else. Oh, and then let's find out. Matter of fact, this would be a good time to show everyone how to get to the earnings web call if anyone wants to join that. And then, of course, we'll find out what time the earnings web call is. It's a little after. It's almost 4:30 right now. So let's just take a look. I'll do Zscaler first, and then we'll look at HQY. And then it looks like I'll have enough time to go over the update and progress on my account challenge. I'm having so much fun doing that account challenge with everybody. All right, so this is Zscaler's investor relations. Let's see if we can get an events section. Okay, key metrics. Okay, here's events. Here it is here. It's their earnings web call is at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. So it's in about another 7 or 8 minutes here. I'll post their link to their earnings web call on the bottom of my screen. If anyone wants to screenshot that, that'll take you right to the earnings web call. Got about 500 people tuning in to the stream. Mixture between X and Twitch and YouTube. A nice little group over here in the Discord as well. Good to see everybody. So anyways, that's the link for the Zscaler earnings web call. It's going down at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. And when you get to that link, just scroll down to the event section and you'll see it right here. September 2nd, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. All right. That's how you get to these. There could be a secondary move when they do these earnings web calls and they start talking about guidance a little more in depth. Sometimes we see secondary moves outside of the initial move from when the earnings data got released. So keep your eye out on those secondary moves as well. Let's see HQY. Let's see when they do their earnings web call. It's usually going to be, like if they report around 4 p.m. Eastern, they usually do the web calls either at 4:30 or 5. And that's Eastern time. Okay, let's go to HQY. Investor relations page, excuse me, and see what's going on with them. Okay, just scroll down here. Okay, here it is here. So HQY is also doing their earnings web call at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. So both of these companies have their earnings web call at the same time. So unless you can watch 2 monitors and 2 audios at the same time, you're going to have to maybe just pick one And if you want to watch the other one, I'm sure there'll be a recording or something, or you could just register for the other one and you'll probably get a recording of it or something. But I'm going to put HQY's earnings web call link on the bottom of my screen. Give everyone a chance to screenshot that if you want to attend that call. But overall, both companies did have a positive reaction initially. It does look like both companies, the price, I mean, let's be real, they're both in the same industry. So the price action is kind of looking similar. They are pulling back now. This 480, or this, excuse me, on Zscaler, this 284 potential higher low just got invalidated. So now we're right back to the drawing board. Look at this bounce right off that 78% fib level. That's going to be right below 282. So that's S1 right now. It's 282. 284 got breached. So 282 support one. Support number two is the after hours, the level it was at before it rallied, which right around 277. I mean, my fib might be off by a little bit. I mean, if I'm just going to go off the bottom of this candle. So S1, I'm sorry, S2, 277. We'll see. We'll see if it can, for the bulls, we'll see if it retraces all the way back or not. Obviously, that's not what the bulls want right now. So HQY, kind of looking similar to Zscaler. Got a pretty clear level here around just above $92 a share. So that's going to be my support for now on that. $92 a share, then 91 would be support two, and then 89 will be the third level of support. But we got the reactions, we got the EPS and revenue on both companies. We even got a little bit of commentary for I think it was Zscaler. Let me see if there was anything on HQY just before I go over that account challenge I started. Give everyone an update on that. Okay. Couple highlights regarding HQY. I keep saying HQY. HQY. A couple highlights. Let me see here. Strong profitability and margin expansion. Company delivered a record 71% gross margin. Robust custodial revenue growth. So custodial revenue grew a strong 15% year over year, benefiting from higher asset levels and solid yields on HSA cash. This remains a primary driver of overall growth. So investors like seeing that. Capital returns. This is again for HQY. The company accelerated its buyback program. They have, for those that didn't know, HQY does have a stock repurchase program that they implemented already. So they've already been actively buying back shares. But the company accelerated its buyback program, repurchasing $66 million of stock just in Q2 this year. So that obviously contributes to the appreciation in the share price. Let me see here. To be honest with you, the daily chart looks a bit volatile. But let's see here. Okay, so this is from April. So this was after the 20% market correction. They rallied pretty good from about $75 to 116, and then they kind of entered a downtrend going into this earnings, didn't they? Obviously, with the price action from this earnings, it's looking like they're probably going to pop out of that daily chart downtrend. They're trading at $93 a share now. So that's going to put the price back above these EMAs. So we'll see if we get continuation on HQY into tomorrow. But if this positive reaction holds up, it looks like finally this downtrend it's been in on the daily chart since June will finally be broken. And then maybe we get a few months of it trending back up, maybe come back up over 100 and retest some of these levels back here. So good stuff. All right, let's go over the wheel account challenge. And it's about 4:30 p.m. Eastern right now. So just kind of see what's going on with this. I'm 3 weeks into this, okay? And I'll just kind of, just real quick, it won't take but a few minutes, but just for the people listening that don't know what I'm talking about with this wheel challenge, I started it 3 weeks ago. The goal of the challenge is to beat the S&P annual average return by 3x or more by only writing contracts. Okay, that's all we're doing is we're option sellers. All of our trades are sell to open. When we go to close them, we're buy to close. Or if they expire, we let them expire worthless, and we just keep 100% of the credit we collected. But that's the goal, though, is to beat the S&P annual average by 3x or more. The starting account started with $2,500. I funded a new Fidelity account, and I am screen sharing my actual Fidelity account every time I'm entering new trades or taking profit on existing trades. Anything like that, I'm live in my live streams. I'm sharing my account with everybody. And the strategy behind the challenge is we're selling cash secured puts on stocks we don't mind owning. And if assigned, we jump to the covered calls and sell covered calls. And we rinse and repeat while managing risk and collecting credit all throughout the whole process. I am doing weekly updates on this. Let me see, HQY, $100 call for September 19th. That was from Hua on X. I wouldn't say it's cooked because, I mean, what do you got? 2.5 weeks of time on that? You're kind of getting to that time frame where the theta is going to start hurting quite a bit every night, but at least it's not like Friday expiration. So you do got a little bit of time on it. Like I say, I'd be watching to see if this keeps if it starts making higher lows. This is a 5-minute chart on HQY. Let's see, kind of spotty price action, trading on low volume a little bit, but yeah, I mean, you're definitely going to want this to probably go up a little bit more. Now, I mean, you could have some value there. Of course, you bought a call that's out of the money, so I don't know if maybe you wrote down what the delta was. I guess we could check the option chain real quick. So HQY, I mean, we can kind of figure it out, just kind of estimate there. So if it's the $100 call for September 19th, it looks like it was worth about $200, a little bit more than that when the regular session closed today. So maybe you paid around $200. You got the delta at 0.35. Okay, so keep that number in mind. You got a gamma of 0.02.5. Okay, so just add that to the delta. So I'll just bust out a calculator real quick. So you'll probably go 0.355 plus 0.025. Okay, so that's 38.38 for the contract would gain 0.38 in value for every $1 move to the upside just on the delta and the gamma. So it's up $4 a share right now. The theta is 0.16, so that's how much the contract will lose. Every day that goes by, it's 0.16. That's what we call the theta decay. Another thing that's going to affect the value is implied volatility. All right, so this is probably going to come crashing down a little bit. I don't know how far. We'll have to go look and see what the historical IV is on this stock. It was at 72%. So you have to understand that the implied vol, if this drops like 20 percentage points and maybe comes down to 50, then you have to check what the value of the Vega is. It's called the Vega. And actually, might have to add it in here. There's the Vega. And what the Vega does is it changes the value of the contract for every 1 percentage point that the IV changes, okay? And that's up or down, all right? So the Vega on this $100 contract is 0.07. So you got to do the math with all this. You might have to write it down on the side, but if this thing, I mean, even if it goes from a 72% implied volatility down to like 62% volatility, that's a 10 percentage point hit on the vol. So you got to do the math with the Vega. So that'd be 0.07, for every dollar, or I'm sorry, for every percentage point in the decrease in the implied vol. So once you, figure out that math, that you can get a pretty good idea of what this contract might be worth. A lot of people just use the delta, the gamma, and the theta, and they totally forget about the vega, because the vega is going to affect the value of the contract depending on how much the implied volatility percentage moves up or down. All right, so just a little quick tip explanation about the Greeks on the option chain. Who on X. There is, I think there's some brokers that have a simulated trade feature. I think Robinhood has. I don't trade on Robinhood. I mainly trade with Vanguard, Fidelity, and Schwab. But I heard there's a tool on Robinhood where you can put the metrics of the contract in there, like how much you paid for it, what the implied vol was, and the expiration date and the strike price. And then it'll actually do all the math for you, and it'll give you a good idea of what your contract will probably be worth tomorrow morning at market open. But hopefully the explanation about the Greeks, once you do the math with that, so basically HQY is up $4 a share right now. So add the delta to the gamma, and for every $1 increase, the contract will increase by that value. But then you have to subtract out the theta, and then of course there's going to be a volatility crush, so you have to subtract the vega value, and that's for every 1%. You should have a good idea what that 100 call is going to be worth tomorrow. So let me just make sure I didn't miss any comments. Archaic Angel. Okay, I see you. I'm sorry I didn't get you in time. There's almost 600 people on this stream, so I apologize. But I do see your comments, and you're asking about CRM. Okay, CRM. Let's just go to earnings whispers real quick. Let me see. Yeah, they don't report today, Archaic Angel. CRM actually reports, I believe, tomorrow. So you might be one day early on that, but that's okay. We can take a look at it real quick. Let's look at the earnings calendar, and I'll tell you what day they report here. Yeah, CRM's not until tomorrow. Okay, after the closing bell tomorrow. So about one day early on that, but that's okay. I am doing the earnings stream tomorrow, Wednesday, and CRM is on my list to go over. Tomorrow I'm going to be covering CRM and AI, C3 AI. I think those are probably the two popular ones. So Archaic Angel, I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll get the CRM earnings data tomorrow, and we'll get their earnings reaction, the stock price reaction to the earnings data tomorrow after the regular session. So I'll be back at 4 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, and I'll gladly we'll talk about CRM all night tomorrow if you want. No probs. So real quick, so this $2,500 account challenge, it's not much to it. Again, I started with $2,500. The only type of trading I'm doing is writing contracts. So lots of it's all sell to open, and I do the weekly updates. And rules for the challenge: you start with $2,500, stick to the wheel strategy only. We track every trade and every decision and focus on risk management. That's it. I got a little graphic here on what it looks like when the wheel rotates, right? We're on week number 3. The very first week, I bagged almost $80 on the first trade. So week number 1, I was up 3.2% on the account just in 1 week. And then I opened up 2 new trades after that. Those trades ended up being, we got 100% on those. And here is the new account balance after those 2 trades got closed out. And by week number 2, we're up 5.2% on the account. And like I said, I'm showing everyone, but this is just a screenshot. But when I actually do the streams and do the updates, I am showing everyone full transparency, my actual Fidelity account. Okay. And then the 2 most recent trades, this is from week number 3. I actually closed those out earlier today, and pocketed almost another $45. Again, it's a small account challenge. I know this doesn't seem like a lot of money to some of you out there, but I'm just trying to prove that you don't need a lot of money to do the wheel strategy, to write. Some people think to write contracts, you need like all this money. Listen, if you got a few $1,000, we can get going. We can get you going. And here's the results after I close out my trades today. So In 3 short weeks, this account is already up 7.3% on the entire portfolio. So one of the goals of the challenge is to beat the S&P annual average by 3x or more. Well, if we stay on the same trajectory, we're going to smash that goal. We're well on our way to beating the S&P annual average by a lot more than that. I'm not going to get too overconfident because I know we might see some drawdown on this account challenge here and there. But so far, out of, let me see, the last set of trade, there was 2 trades there. And then there was, so that was week 3 was 2 trades. Week 2 was 2 trades. So that's 4 trades total. And then week 1 was 1 trade. So out of 5 trades, we're 5 for 5. We've won 5 trades out of 5. So we got a 100% win rate. Again, I'm not going to get overconfident. I'm sure there's going to be a loser on the horizon maybe soon. I don't know. But the account challenge is going fantastic. And there's been a total of 5 trades. And we are 5 for 5. So I usually like to marinate in my win. I just took profit on week 3's trades this morning. So I do like to bask in the win a little bit. And then tomorrow I'll probably be alerting the new trades on the account challenge. But yeah, that's really all I got for today. Again, tomorrow should be a little bit more exciting. And as my friend Archaic Angel on YouTube pointed out, we got CRM tomorrow. So I'm really looking forward to their earnings results. And then I figure C3 AI is going to be the other one. We do have some retailers reporting tomorrow, like American Eagle. We've got some more tech companies. Hewlett Packard reports tomorrow as well. So we'll probably touch on those a little bit. But tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, is going to be all about CRM and AI. Okay. But yeah, other than that, my name's The Swinging Bull. I hope everyone enjoyed the stream. I do these streams every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I come here to have fun and hang out, talk about earnings data, talk about the stock price reactions to the earnings data. We go over EPS, we go over revenue, any guidance I can find. I show everyone how to get to the earnings web call and what time those calls are. And then at the end of the stream, I usually go over some recent trades that I've closed out or trades that are currently open. It just depends. I constantly have 4 to 6 open trades going at one time, at all times. It's like my little pipeline of trades. And that's just where I'm comfortable at. So I constantly have a pipeline of 4 to 6 trades. As I'm closing some down for profit, I'm opening new ones. But I keep a pipeline like that open usually at all times. That way it gives us plenty of content to go over, especially with my Discord team members that are on my coaching group. And we have a lot of fun in the Discord. So if you're looking for a new home, check out the links in the description. You can even join the Discord for free and just see how you like the free section and go from there. Or if you just want to jump headfirst into the coaching, I got a link. You can join my coaching. I think it's $30 a month or something like that. But most importantly, if you're enjoying the content, give me a follow on X. My handle is theswingingbull_1. And I even have a link in the description of this stream. It'll take you straight to my X channel there. And also that's where I'm posting a lot of my updates on the account challenge. So be sure to follow my X. Well, other than that, I had a lot of fun. It was good seeing everyone as always. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their night. And I'll see everyone in the very next stream. Cheers.